Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. Imagine honestly thinking that this has been a boring season in the Premier League. Imagine thinking the Premier League's fallen off. Because whilst the big teams, City, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, United, pretty much Liverpool are like the only big team that's actually been, very good this season. But fuck me, there's some entertaining games. Like, Aston Villa is usually a fixture that Liverpool have some joy in. Like, they actually quite like this fixture, but this game was so entertaining. And it wasn't because we got in. It's not like, the Prime El Clasicos where we get this insane quality, all the best players in the world. We just saw a lot of athletes work their asses off today. And it was a really really entertaining game. I mean, I enjoyed it. You got City Madrid, which is supposed to be the big blockbuster fixture. I was watching both of them sort of simultaneously. This one was a lot more entertaining. So yeah, look, I thought that Liverpool were better. In fact, I think it's been their best performance in their, I guess, blip. It's not really a proper blip, but yeah, it's kind of a bit of a blip. They haven't been playing great. I mean, they did beat Wolves, but I mean, not having a single shot in the second half, and then against Everton, I thought it was one of their worst games of the season. So they did actually play well, but they didn't get the 3 points, and that is what matters. I thought that they were at their best in probably the first 30 minutes of the game. I mean, they were just so dominant. Villa could not handle the Liverpool press. They couldn't handle it. Like it was unbelievable how much pressure Liverpool were applying in sort of that first 30-ish minutes. Really, honestly, until the equaliser. Like until Tielemans scored, Liverpool were very good, very good. I think Villa didn't have a shot for like, I don't know, the first 30 minutes or something. It was something crazy like that. Like Liverpool had already gone 1-0 up before Villa took their first shot. But then despite the amount of pressure that Liverpool were applying, the goal that Villa conceded was just shit. And you're going to hear me say that quite a bit. That they're just not nice goals to concede. If you concede a fucking worldie, then it's like, oh, fair play. But, I mean, that could have been dealt with. I mean, Garcia, honestly, what was he doing? Like, genuinely, Andres Garcia, I don't know what he was doing. Just gives the ball away. And then Zoboslai, who I, thought played pretty well, ends up giving it to Jota, who then lays it off to Salah, taps it in, puts him 1-0 up. And I mean, Salah, he's always scoring. I feel like every time I watch Liverpool, he's scoring. And it's weird because there's been so many times this season where I've watched Salah, and he hasn't really played great. Like, I mean, in that Bournemouth game especially, I didn't think Salah was very good, but he still manages to get the goals and the assists. And in games like this, that's what matters. If he gets the goal, it doesn't matter if he delivers 10 crosses into the box and none of them get headed in. It's those fine margins that matter. And I know his goal was like it was a pretty easy finish, but a goal's a goal. And then really, the fact I don't know how Liverpool go from being 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go to them being 2-1. I don't know what's happened there. It's just fucking cut out. But yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know how Liverpool have been 2-1 down. Have gotten to a position where they're 2-1 down at halftime. I mean, the goals that they conceded, they were just so bad. Like the first one was such a scrappy goal. Like it was literally just bobbling around at the 6-yard box, and then Tielemans twats it in to, make it 1-1. And then Villa were really lucky to be level, and Ollie Watkins then heads in. Really a great cross from Digne. Like it was a good cross, a decently hard header from Watkins. But to all you Arsenal fans that said, "Oh, we don't need Watkins, whatever," and I'm not even the biggest Watkins fan. How many attempts does it take Havertz to score that simple header? How many times have you seen him miss that header? A lot. Um, But this isn't about Arsenal. This is about this brilliant game. But yeah, if I'm being honest, I think I wasn't really surprised at the performance from that first half. I wasn't really surprised that Liverpool were putting a lot of pressure on Villa, because if you look at that Villa 11, I mean, it's clear where the weaknesses in that team are. Like, obviously that front four is very good. You know, Rashford, whilst he's not in amazing form, he's a great player. Rodgers is good, is amazing. He's a joke. Watkins is a world class striker. Actually, no, probably not world class, but he was playing at a world class level last season. And then Asensio, whilst he's not the same player he was a couple of years ago, he's still a very talented footballer that helps that team. It's just the defense that's the issue. Like, Digne was alright, but Mings, Disasi, and Garcia, the 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 three of them, they were shit. They were absolute shit. But yeah, I think the second half was very different though. I did. I thought that it was a lot more end to end. However, Liverpool created more chances. Like, it was weird. I thought Liverpool put way more pressure on Villa. Villa looked a lot more relaxed in the second half, but that allowed them to sort of get a little bit more ambitious. Villa had chances as well. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't just Liverpool that had the chances. But Villa were able to sort of, work their way out, but it meant that they conceded some more chances. And, I mean, we'll look at... I think that Arne Slot, personally, like, I would say Arne Slot got this game wrong. Because he did coach a win. Like, Liverpool did have enough chances to go and win this game. They did. Like, they looked very good, especially in that first half. They get their equalizer from Trent, which was a pretty scrappy, like, not scrappy, but it took a deflection. It wasn't the greatest goal ever. It's not like an insane moment of brilliance from Trent. It was more just, takes a lucky deflection, goes in the back of the net, 2-2. You can't say Liverpool didn't deserve it at that point, though. That's the thing. So whilst he did coach a win, I thought that a lot of it was on him. I mean, I don't know how Curtis Jones stays on the pitch. Like, he wasn't really impacting the game a lot. Liverpool were in a weird situation because like, Luis Diaz, I think, is coming back from an injury, or Arne Slot didn't really want him to start, and they were trying to put Szoboszlai and Jones into the same team, and I didn't really think it worked. Like, they were kind of alternating with who occupied the left-hand side, and I think Szoboszlai's better when he's sort of, around the right half spaces and sort of staying a bit more centrally. He's not really the same on the left, and Jones wasn't really able to impact the game a whole lot. So I feel like Jones should have come off when McAllister did, or maybe even before that. And same with Trent. Like, Trent's literally just scored a goal, and then he's been hooked off. I mean, I know that there's fitness and everything, but when it's 2-2 at Villa Park, you've just scored an equaliser with half an hour left. You keep one of your best attacking players in Trent on the pitch, the guy that's going to create a chance out of nothing. You keep him on the pitch, especially when he's just scored. And then McAllister, I didn't really think deserved to be subbed off. I feel like he should have taken Jones off instead. Maybe take Robertson off, who I actually thought had a pretty good game, and put Bradley on the left. Do something like that. But you can't really blame Slot, because if Liverpool score some more chances, they win that game. So it's not... I wouldn't say it's all on him. It's on one player in particular, and that's Darwin Núñez. Like, God, what a cameo. What a shocking cameo. He was absolutely abysmal. And look, I didn't think Jota had a bad game. I didn't even necessarily think that was a bad sub. I mean, if you look at their bench, I mean, he could have maybe brought on, like, Chiesa and played him as, like, a false nine, or put Diaz up front where he's played, and I honestly don't know what he would have done. So I didn't hate the Darwin Núñez sub from a Slot standpoint, because Jota was pretty appalling. I thought it was one of his worst games. But Núñez was awful. I mean, how do you miss that chance? A part of me honestly wants to blame Szoboszlai for passing it to him. Just shoot, bro. Honestly, just shoot. Like, you're probably more likely to score it yourself than this cunt to actually put it in the back of the net. But you can't blame Szoboszlai. I mean, He's gonna miss that. I mean, yeah, it was just. I thought that Villa did deserve to take something from this game, despite the fact Liverpool had enough chances to win. I did. Because Daniel Marlin also had a couple chances to put the game away. This is the thing. Villa actually looked more likely to win it in the last 5-10 minutes, despite the fact that Liverpool missed so many opportunities and probably should have won this game. They had more chances, they had more possession, more shots, more everything. Villa almost came away with the 3 points, and that would have honestly been a bit disastrous. Not in terms of the title race, but in terms of like a result. Like you've just come in there and put in a good performance, and you've lost. Like, look, I do think a draw away at Villa Park is a decent result for Liverpool. But we'll talk about Villa. I've talked about Liverpool a lot. We'll sort of talk about a Villa perspective. I mean, I think they did well to grow into the game. Like considering how shit they were early on, they actually did quite well. Like in that first half hour, I was really not expecting Aston Villa to get anything from this game. I thought they were going to get battered. When I saw that 11, I mean, yeah, that 11's got some holes, specifically defensively. I mean, that attack is great. I thought they all looked pretty lively. I thought Asensio had an alright game. Rashford was pretty good. He was unlucky to get taken off when he did. I think that Emery just noticed that, after that equaliser, he would have noticed that, okay, we need to buck down and defend, which is why, I mean, taking off Garcia, Rashford, and Asensio to bring on Cash, Ramsey, and Marlin. They did just bring more legs in the team so they can track back, because Rashford was playing well. I've actually really liked Rashford so far at Villa. I mean, other than the offside issue, I mean, he found himself offside a few times. Other than that, I mean, he was pretty good. He looked lively. He had that one chance that was offside, but I thought he did pretty good. I honestly thought he did well. Um, but yeah, defensively, I mean, I talked about Liverpool's errors. Villa made a lot of mistakes. I mean, props to Emi Martinez, because that challenge, Mings has just had a fucking shocker. He's just lost the ball when he did not need to, and Martinez has come flying out, two-footed him, and clears the ball. It was an excellent challenge at a pivotal moment in the game. I think was it 2-2 at that point, or was it 2-1? I can't remember, but it was in the second half. I think teams are figuring out how to stop Gravenberch. I mean, that's 3 games in a row where Gravenberch hasn't looked amazing. I don't think this was the same as the Everton game. The Everton game, it was more that they just weren't letting him get on the ball. Today, I think he just looked tired. He's played an insane amount of football for them. But today, yeah, he really did look like he was tired. So that's not too bad. So yeah, defensively, Villa were shocking. They, they created some chance of their own. Marlon probably should score that. It's not like he's missed a sitter, but he actually came really close. That he just dragged it a bit towards the left. On another day, gets a slightly better connection that could go in the back of the net, and Villa could come away with 3 points, which Liverpool would feel so hard done by. But let's take a quick look at the Premier League table as always. Liverpool do go 8 points clear, so they did extend their lead. However, they do have an extra game played. But all eyes are turning to this big game at the Etihad against Manchester City. Cannot wait to watch that one. It'll be an absolute. It'll be so good. And yeah, I don't want to spoil what I think will win, because you can go watch my Premier League predictions if you haven't already to see. But yeah, I think it'll be a very, very decent game. So yeah, I mean, Arsenal, from an Arsenal perspective, we just got to hope and pray that Liverpool drop points. We beat West Ham, and we could potentially close the gap to 5. And whilst I don't think we really have much of a shot at this league, just considering the state that our team is in, where this is obviously a good result for us. And look, I do think that this isn't really that bad for Liverpool. I mean, a draw away, once again, a draw away at Villa Park is fine. I do think that, dropping points in back-to-back away games, Everton and Villa, two games that you could have won on another day. I didn't think they were very good in the Everton game, if I'm being honest. But I think that Liverpool fans would be much more comfortable with this result if they'd beaten Everton. If they had gone and beaten Everton, then I don't think many Liverpool fans would really care about this win. Like, like this draw. Obviously, they want to win it, but it would be like, we're gonna drop points every now and then. When you play a couple difficult away games in the span of a week, then you're gonna drop points. But dropping points in both of them, because that's 4 points dropped. Say that they drop more points to City, and then Arsenal beat West Ham, then it's back to 5. Whereas if they go and win those 2 games, then Liverpool, if they win those 2 games, Liverpool could be 12 points clear. And although they would still have that extra game played, it's just such a kick in the guts to Arsenal. Like, I'm telling you, there's going to be less energy at the Emirates if it's 12 instead of 8. And then we'll just talk about Villa. I mean, they've been in some pretty poor form. They've got Chelsea at home, a chance to rebound. Chelsea have been in poor form, but, draw to Liverpool, draw at home to Ipswich, back-to-back home draws. Losing to Wolves is a shocker of a result. West Ham and Arsenal, being winless in 5 when, you're looking at top 4. I don't think Villa are really going to be competing for top 4. I think just juggling Premier League and Champions League fixtures, plus they're, still in the FA Cup. I do definitely think that it's sort of derailed their season, and it's why they haven't been as consistent. Since they failed to win that game, a Brighton win against Southampton could see them go down to 10th, and they'd be hanging on to top half. But then also, if they manage to beat Chelsea, then that puts them on 42 points, and they're automatically back in that top 4 race. Like, it's so tight. It's honestly so tight. Just a month of good form for Villa could see them improve their position significantly. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. A very entertaining game. Both teams had some chances. Liverpool probably are kicking themselves that they didn't get this win, but a draw at Villa Park isn't necessarily a terrible result. I feel like both teams will kind of take the draw. I mean, considering, as I said before, Aston Villa had their backs pinned against the wall, so yeah, a draw is alright. Big up to you guys for watching this video. Make sure to follow me on TikTok, link in my bio. Also, subscribe to the channel, watch my predictions video, check out some of my other content. I'm going to try and get more consistent uploads to YouTube this year, starting from now. There'll be many more match reviews. I've got about 5 games planned in for this weekend that I'm going to watch, so I'm so hyped to focus a bit more on YouTube, because all my attention's sort of been on TikTok lately, and I've been leaving the YouTube account to dry. It is kind of tough juggling the two, because I've been neglecting my TikTok lately. So yeah, I gotta sort of make sure that I'm committed to both in the sense. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, peace. Come on, you Gunners! What a result.